parts that come with your Talaria pedal kit: left side bracket, right side bracket, 2 zip ties to fix your side stand sensor, the spindle, the collar, washer, right side nut, other collar, other washer, left hand nut, pedals, and cranks. If you order the pedals and the cranks, those are optional. Now we're going to remove the left side bracket. So you need a 5mm Allen wrench. So we remove the screws. Okay, here you have the side stand sensor. So first thing you need to do is remove the jam nut, and then you need to turn the left side bracket. Do not turn the sensor cable, because then you can snap it off and then you'll break the cables. If for any reason it's hard to take off, then what you can do is you get 2 nuts to be placed here, and you do the nut and counter nut method. So you can put 2 nuts here, and then you start twisting until, or turning until you can loosen the side stand sensor, because some customers have told us that the sensor it's stuck. You can also use WD-40, but you should be able to take it off. Anyway, on my bike I don't have the sensor installed, because sometimes when it gets wet, then it'll cut the power off. So I have it off. I don't have it installed on my bike. Okay, now it's off. You can just leave it there, and then we'll install it afterwards. First, you can take your spindle and take the collar and slide the collar until the set screw is over the pre-drilled hole. Then you can just start tightening. Make sure you put the set screw over the hole. There you can see that the set screw is going in all the way. So you can do it on the left side. Next step is to remove the side stand from the side bracket. So what we're going to do is, first of all, you need to remove the nut that's placed right here, and then you can start by removing this screw. You'll need a 6mm Allen wrench for this. So you can just remove the screw and then remove the spring. Now you need to remove this pin, because we're going to need it to insert it in our power pedal kit. Now to install the side stand on the left side bracket, then you take your pin. This is the spring pin, and then you put it in as far as you can. Then you use a spanner wrench. Try not to scratch the paint. Okay, there you go. you take the side stand and put it here. Make sure the holes match. Then you put in the screw that has a shoulder. You continue putting the screw in. Okay, not too tight, so you can move the side stand easily. For example, this is a little bit too tight, so I'm gonna loosen it a bit. There we go. Then we put on the nut that goes on the back side. Then you can use a socket or a spanner wrench to tighten it down. Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna put on the spring. To put on the spring, you need to put the shorter hook on the side bracket side, and then what you can do is you get a screwdriver and then you use it to do some lever like this. Then you just take out the screwdriver and you have the spring installed. Now we are going to install the left side bracket with the side stand installed. So first we put it here, and then we put the upper side screw just a little bit to hold it in place. Then we take the lower side screw, take blue Loctite, medium strength. Oops, that's too much. We just need a little bit. Then we start putting it in. We use our 5mm Allen wrench. Okay, then we take out this screw, put a little bit of blue Loctite. That's enough, more than enough, I'd say. And then start putting the screw in. Remember, please start tightening with your hand so you don't damage the thread. And then we can tighten down both screws. And we have our side stand installed. Now to install the side stand sensor, you should measure it here and see that the sensor is flushing against this part of the side bracket. Then you need to move the nut so it will stay right in the middle there of the two grooves, and that the sensor flushes here, so it's more or less there. And then you take these two zip ties and then you put one around, not too much. Okay, now you take the second one and put them through the grooves. Okay, then you tighten them. Make sure the sensor is flushing, and you tighten the zip ties. There, we're good. Then we cut both of them, and that's it. We have our sensor installed. Just in case you're not able to reach with the cable, You need to reroute the cable. You need to remove the bash guard, and just in case you need to do so, you may also cut some zip ties that are holding down the cable, and then the cable will reach for sure. And then you see the sensor is flushing against the side stand when the side stand is down. Now the bike can stand on its own with the side stand installed. Now we're gonna take off the right side bracket. We take the screws off. Now you take your spindle with the collar on the left side only. The flat spot should go on the right side. So take the left side of the spindle with the collar and put it all the way through the bearing on the left side bracket. Now put on some blue Loctite on the nut. And remember, this is a left hand nut, so it will tighten counterclockwise. Then we take our ratchet and start tightening down. Okay, there we go. Now make sure the spindle has enough gap like the one here on both sides, so your cranks won't scratch the side stand. Now we're going to install our pedal. The pedal also, you need to check that it says L, like here from the left side, and then you put it on here, and it will also tighten counterclockwise. This is to avoid the pedals and the left side nut loosening when you're pedaling. Okay, then we take again our 6mm Allen wrench and start tightening down. Okay, there you go. Now to put the pedal sensor in, I'm putting it into some water. This is to show you that it's waterproof, but also it will make it easier to slide this sensor onto the spindle. So you need to twist and push, twist and push, and now it's onto the spindle. Okay, so now we push it in, and then we take the sensor position fixing bracket. It goes on like this, please see. So this part will go over the cable, then you fix it on here, and then this will secure the sensor. It will stop it from rotating once we put the right side bracket on. So then you put the collar on, and then you put the right side bracket on, and then we put the screws on back again. Make sure the holes are matching. There we go. Make sure to put on some blue Loctite on the screws again. So you take your blue Loctite, take your screw, then put on a little bit, put the screw in, Okay, then we tighten it a little bit, then we take this one out, put blue Loctite on it, and then put it on back again. Okay, now we tighten the screws. Then again we put the crank on back again, put the washer on back again, and then we put the nut on back again with the blue Loctite. Then we put the blue Loctite on here. We start tightening again. Then we use our ratchet. We clean the excess off. Now we need to reroute the sensor cable, and for that we need to take the bash guard off. 3-position switch, we put it on the handlebar, and then we take the lower fixing part and then we take the small screws that it comes with. Then we tighten one a little bit, then we take the second one and tighten it on the rear part. Okay, okay, there we go. Now it's secured. Now we are going to route the 3-position switch cable. So we open this cable guide we have right here, put the cable back there, and then close the cable guide again. Then we take the end of the cable, which should be like this, female, and we put it right here behind the light. This is just a suggested route. You can do any route you want. And then we take the cable from, make sure there are no cables behind it, just put it in front, I mean behind all cables. Then we take off the switch cover. I prefer to put in this cable through the right side of the switch cover, because on the left side we already have a good amount of cables. So we just remove the screws, make sure to keep them safe, remove the switch cover, put it here on one side, and there you might get a better view. And then we just take the cable, put it in here, open the battery cover, the Talaria, and pull the cable until we have it here. Then we put the switch cover back on. Now we can tighten down the screws, and we have this cable coming in through the right side. Tighten down here, tighten down here. This is the same 3-position switch as the Suron, and if you can see, the cable's coming out through there. Now we're just fix it in a while. Now to remove the bash guard, you take the Allen wrench and loosen the screws. It's gonna be 4 screws, 2 on the right side and 2 on the left side. Loosen here, or remove this one, then you loosen this one. You don't need to remove it. Then you repeat the procedure on the other side. So now, once you remove the screws on both sides, then you can lower down the bash guard, and then you can route the sensor cable by putting it in through the bash guard, and then you can put it in through these cables. Now we need to remove the battery. Now to remove the battery, you need to remove this connector. Push this pin here and remove the connector. Then you can just pull the battery out. And now we have some more free space to work here. Now you take your cable, push it in through here. Then what you can do is you push it behind the battery bracket here, and you keep pushing up, trying to put the cable. Maybe it will try to come out this side on the controller side. Then you just push it back in. And what we're trying to do is have the cable pop out through here. So we start, there it is. We just route it a little again with our finger, push. There it's coming out. Okay, now I have it. Here it is. Then we just pull and have that cable sitting here, and now we can put the battery back in, and it won't interfere with our battery. Once you have the battery inside again, don't connect the energy plug, but in order to have this lid or battery cover stay up, just take your cable from your 3-position sensor, put it in through this receiver here, and just leave the cable sitting there or staying here, and that will keep your battery cover up while you do that work. Now we need to find 3 connectors. One is this one, this black connector that's loose here, and then we need to find the throttle connector, that it's going to be a triangular shaped connector, and it has a green, red and black wire. Then we need to open this connector. Be careful not to snap the cables, and then you just need it open like this. Now we're ready to connect our pedal controller. Okay, what we need to do now is connect the white connector from our pedal controller. Take the white connector, the male one, and put it into the female connector here. Okay, then you take the female connector and put it on the male connector of the throttle here, of the bike's throttle. Make sure it clicks. Okay, there it clicked. Now take this other connector and put it into the loose connector there. Okay, now we take the female connector from the pedal controller and take our pedal sensor cable and connect it here. Make sure you have the matching arrows. Connect, and finally you can connect the 3-position sensor, sorry, 3-position switch cable, and that it's female, with the KANIWABA controller here. Make sure you have the matching arrows. Once you have connected all of the cables, then we need to make this neat as possible. Then what I suggest is you put the cables here below the sensor, sorry, the ignition switch cover, and you put the cables in there and below the battery connector, and you can just put your pedal controller there like this. Okay, and then just make sure you can close the lid softly. I mean, it doesn't have to be hard. Now it closed, and we have our pedal assist controller installed. We need to put the bash guard back on, so we just find a suitable position for this cables inside here. Okay, now we just push it back on. Take the Allen wrench, fix the screws. Now we need to fix this one also. It has a nut behind, so you can just fix it with your finger, and then it'll tighten by itself.